progress.
And great. Let me officially say hello. My name's Paul Sweeney. I'll be your instructor today for this presentation on MOXIPRESENT. You've been staring at this slide for as long as you've been in the classroom here. So let's get rid of this slide, but I do have a couple of things to talk about. First of all, this is a presentation on 101 MOXIPRESENT. Get presenting. So with that, again, my name is Paul Sweeney. I'll be your instructor, but I do have a couple of things to talk about. I know. And what I have to tell you again is that since you're independent contractors, all learning opportunities are optional. I'm here to explain how the tool functions and how it's going to benefit your business, but it's completely up to you to decide whether what we covered today should be implemented or not. So as we talk through the tool functionality, I'm going to discuss how to connect with people. So please note it's super important to comply with state and local do not contact laws and regulations, as you know. If you're unsure how to stay DNC compliant, please contact your broker, owner, manager, get a hold of somebody. And my final note is that COVID-19 crisis has resulted in executive orders and other protective guidance at the state and local levels. So please make sure that you're reviewing those requirements in your area with your broker, including those to non-essential businesses and telemarketing to consumers. Okay, now I get to have some fun. I'm going to introduce you to MOXIPRESENT. Then we're going to talk about the business benefits MOXIPRESENT can bring to you and your business. And then we're going to take a tour of the product. Yeah, get the heck off these slides. We're going to do a live demo. We'll include how to use the help section too. That's available to you within the tool. And then finally, we're going to wrap up to cover those next steps. Make sure that you have what you need to get started, where to find additional learning opportunities, self-paced learning, quick reference guides. Oh boy. So to start, let me say that MOXIPRESENT is considered one of the top comparative market analysis tools, a CMA, huh? It integrates with your local MLS to provide accurate and up-to-date market data. Did I say integrate? Yeah, you're going to love how these presentations come together because now we have templates, pre-designed templates. Your presentations not only come together quickly, but boy, they're state-of-the-art interactive listing presentations because it's live on the multiple listing service. So of course you have seller presentations, buyer presentations, create your own presentations. So yeah, it's pretty good. Since the data is pulled from the MLS, it's always up to date. If a property has switched to pending since the last time you opened the presentation, you're going to see that change represented. How awful to be flat-footed. You know, you show up to a presentation and you start going over comps and they say, what about the neighbor's house? The neighbor's house? It just went on the market this morning. So that's not going to happen to you. That'll be updated as you open it, as your customer opens it. These presentations can be shared any way you want them. I mean, you can share it as a digital presentation. You can print it as a PDF. Maybe there's some pages in here that I would print in the seller presentation and give the presentation digitally. Leave behind my agent information page, maybe a CMA page. We're going to create one and we'll go over all of that. So you can easily create a presentation custom for the client that you're presenting with. Some like to read in a PDF and hold it, and somewhat digital, of course. So you're going to find that MOXIPRESENT not only saves you time by letting you start off with these polished professional templates, but it also lets you edit them. So you can take those standard presentations and you can edit them, you know, to suit the client. To suit the slides that you're showing. You can reposition them, reorder them, build new ones. Oh my gosh. So what's going to do, because of your data and because it contains up-to-date market data and the way that it's shared, this is what you walk away with. You walk away with that tech-savvy expert as that tech-savvy expert. And we've done a little number crunching here. MOXIPRESENT's proven to increase transactions for agents by more than 77%. Yikes. So in the past, you may have been given some PowerPoint slides, and then you work with your clients, but you had to customize each of them and then pull them out of one software and put them into another software. You're not going to have to do any of that anymore. The CMA is built in. So you're going to save time and effort here. Now, this is some feedback we've gotten from early adopters, and I dare say that is a picture of one confident agent. Yeah, that's pretty good. So there's 4 different presentations we're going to go over to start with. You'll get a buyer presentation. And of course, you can use that to educate your buyers, help them find that perfect property, create a CMA for a potential property. And yes, the next is a seller presentation. And that allows you to access a current or potential market value with the traditional CMA that's included here. And the whole time you're pitching yourself as their agent. So the buyer tour is used once the buyer is your client. And now this buyer tour will guide your clients from listing to listing, using your MLS tour. With that detailed tour experience, I'm going to show you that also. We're going to build one also. So, you get all the properties on the map, the ability to add comments. So that's, in real time, this is going to make for a great buyer tour. You're going to love that. Finally, we have a non-listing presentation. Maybe you're going to use this for an open house. John, you've been in virtual Accelerate. Maybe we'll use this for an open house. We'll meet the agent marketing piece, create an interactive newsletter marketing piece with custom pages. So you can share this with a client if you're in a spot without Wi-Fi, but they're not able to update the MLS listings on the fly since it can't access the MLS. So I don't want you to think that you can't open it and give the presentation. If you're not live online, it just won't do the updates. So if something went from active to pending, it's just going to still show as active. So let's see. Let's take a tour. Anywhere you're able to get on the 21online.com, you're able to access MOXIPRESENT. So the question that I've gotten before class was, is it an app? It's not an app. So you'll go to 21online.com and build the presentation, send it from there. If you don't want to open 21online.com, you'll send the presentation to yourself. So no app to download. Anywhere you can access 21online.com, you can access this. So let's take a tour. Let's get right to the internet here. Hold on a second. No, come on, Zoom. Oh, thank you, Zoom. We love Zoom. This is what you're going to see. This is exactly what you're going to see when you open it up. Here's the thumbnails of the presentations you've previously created on the screen. So the last presentation you edited is always going to appear up in the left-hand corner for quick access. When you're ready to give this presentation, you can just click anywhere on this thumbnail and it'll immediately open in the web presentation mode. Now, if you want to edit this presentation that you've created, there's a pencil in the top right-hand corner of that thumbnail. Let me get your attention here. Yeah, there's a pencil up in the thumbnail. And just below that is a little clock you can hover over. And it's going to give you all the updated information. What's going on with this and who created it, when did they create it. And below that, there is an action menu here. And that action menu brings up from the dots. You can share the presentation with another agent, email it, duplicate it. Yeah, you might have a similar presentation in the future of maybe another condo in the same complex where a lot of the information can stay kind of the same. Super fast then to just take something and duplicate it. So we're going to take a look at this seller presentation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this because I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. We'll go over this a lot deeper in the build because we're going to build a seller presentation. Oh boy. And we're going to build a buyer tour as well. So let's see. Let me start with this. Remember I mentioned that the last one that I worked on is going to be in the top left-hand corner. This is a demo presentation. So I checked it out just before class and I think we're good to go here. So with that, let me give this a click. Oh, I have a note to myself. If you are connected with the internet, MOXIPRESENT is going to pause for a moment because it syncs with the MLS. So I wanted to tell you that because we might be waiting here for a second for this to load. Why is it making us wait? It's accessing the MLS. And that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too long. Now I'll click here to get it to start. I'll scroll down. This is the cover page. So this is going to display any photos of the home you've uploaded, the name of the presentation, the address, the date that it was edited. Your photo, name, brokerage is going to appear just below that. So you can use your mouse or keyboard to scroll down, or you can click on these arrows in the lower right-hand corner. Check this out. Now I can go slide to slide, but right in the middle of these arrows, I can click on that button that has the lines. And I love this button because if I'm giving you this presentation and you ask a question and I need to go back a page, this lets me see the pages, all the pages in the presentation. I can go forward because if you ask me a question about costs, I don't want to say, well, I'm going to go over that. So just keep your question. I'm going to say, let's talk about cost. So that's pretty handy to be able to jump around like that. So the next page is called the property information page. And I'll click on that down arrow. In this property information page, boy, there's tons of options on what fields you can display here. But what we'll go over in the build, I wanted to show you that I don't have much on here. So if I enter text in a field, it appears on the screen. But if I leave a field blank, it doesn't show up. So this page, I didn't add too much. What did I add? Property type, single family, bedrooms and bathrooms. So I didn't add a whole lot of information on here. So you certainly can, and we'll show you how to do that. I just wanted to demonstrate. I love my presentations nice and clean, so I'll put a few things on here and save the rest for the presentation itself. So anyway, you can add a few comments here. You pull this in from the MLS. So what I did now on the next page, I just chose 4 properties. Just chose some 4 comparable properties. So of course I made these selections based on price, location to the seller's home. The home appears as a star with a blue button around it. Let me just check my other monitor here. No questions. You guys are all good. Handsome group. Heck yeah. The location, the subject property is right here on the star. And so it tries to center that on the map. Homes marked with a red price tag have sold recently. Those in gold, I don't see any here today, are pending. And do you see any in green? Active listings. Is that an active listing? Oh boy, we're going to have to get over there fast. The listing photo appears for each home. And then as you hover over it, it highlights. You see this one sold, and you can kind of see it highlighting here. I wish I could click on both of them to show you. If I click on this one, then the picture highlights. So what I'm going to do, in the carousel, we have all the photos here. So what you do is when you're hovering over these photos, it highlights the marker on the map and so on. Then when you click on it, this is you have all the details. You could scroll through here and look at all the pictures of the listing. Ooh, that's a nice picture. And then, of course, in the top left-hand corner, there are a couple of arrows here. And I can scroll among the listings, and then down, I can scroll among the pictures among the listings. What I'm doing is I'm looking for comps. So in this presentation, I've chosen them. I'll let you know how you do that. And yeah, so what I'll do now is let's close that. Let's close that. And on the next page, it starts to compare these. So comparable number 1, comparable number 4, so on. Again, it takes away any distractions of the map and lets you open these things up individually and talk more about them if that's a part of your presentation. You move to the next comp. You can anyway. We went through that with the last slide. This one just gets just a little more focused, and then of course what it starts to do, it starts to make that direct comparison. So on the left-hand side, you have that up. You have the subject property. And as you scroll through the photos, you can read more about those. And then on this page, what you want to do is compare those listings to the other listed properties, into all these details. The details that you enter are the ones that'll show up. So I'll show you how that's important. I did a presentation recently in New Jersey, and they don't do a lot of square foot, price per square foot, that kind of thing. So I just took it out of the presentation so that we don't have a blank column. So there you go. The status side-by-side comparison page then it is a good way to look at all of this. Comparable properties, scrolling down, lets you compare all the features to the subject property. Also, when I get to the next page, this is pretty good because now it takes in account all of the groups of listings. So I love to make presentations and have the seller concentrate on what I'm talking about. So I'll go over the solds. I don't want them to look at the availables. There aren't any in this demo, but we'll find some. But I'm able to then collapse this, and I could open up the active listings, and I could say, no, this is this is your competition. Here's the sold properties. This is the price buyers are willing to pay, and I can really get my customer focused in, not look ahead or not ask me questions about those other components till I'm ready. So then what it starts to do is grab that information that you've entered and starts to give us the numbers. It shows it in the graph. So, when you're viewing this, you kind of get a sense based on the client, you're getting kind of a sense on the pricing and that kind of thing, right? It gives you lots of options, but you can create this to your personality. There are other graphs. There's other graphs that compares the price on the y-axis there to the days on the market. So you can see price per square foot. You can see you can see that the bigger the house, the more it costs, the longer it's on the market, the less it sells for. And you know what? I did it also recently, one of these comparisons. And for the first time in my almost 40-year real estate career, I've seen a graph that depicts the longer it's on the market, the more it sells for. And I just paused to say that because that's a reflection of today. Very, very odd market, isn't it? So anyway, we have all the previous comparable data then. What it'll do is it'll drop it into, let's talk money. So based on average sales, I've put in here a range of value, and I love to talk about range of value. I'm not going to get into my teach here, but I'd like to get a seller involved in the presentation. So giving them a range of value and letting them get involved in that and choosing the price, they want more than $2 million for this house. We show them the range of value and they want to go over it by 20%. Does that sound like your seller? So the last page then, not the last page, but the next page goes into details. So what are the closing costs here? Well, I want to point out that you can create up to 3 of these net sheets. So you can create 3 of these. And how nice to be able to compare different strategies. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if we sell for cash, you can expect this amount of money. Excuse me. I was running out of gas, had to hit that espresso. So you can create 3 of these net sheets because we want to comp it. As we're going along here, we want to let them know that here's different strategies, here's different loan packages, here's different list price. So this page confirms all the details about money, and this page confirms all the details, your details. This is the one that I think I'll print. I want to give the presentation. I want to print this one, make sure that they have that. Shoot, I might display this one, the first slide in my presentation and the last. Why? Because I just want to make sure they know how to get a hold of me should they need to think about it, those kinds of things. So anyway, let me get us back. I'm going to click on I'm going to get us back to the home page here. Good, right where we started. So before we get started in the build, I do have one step that I got to show you. This information only has to be entered once, but it's in the profile. So up in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to look for that handsome photo up there. And I'm going to click on that photo. And then I'm going to drop down here to choose my account. Thank you, Moxie. Now, on the left-hand side, well, let me pause for a second. Hope you guys are all good. On the left-hand side, you can see that that's what's highlighted, profile. Across the top, across under Century 21 Test User, you see these tabs that say Personal Info. That's where we're going to put all that profile information. Contact info, and boy, that's self-explanatory. And then the web info, and the web info is where you get that paragraph. That page that I was going to print and leave behind. Here's where you create that. And how you create it, I'm going to click on the pencil right above this box. And now you see it opens up into the edit function. And I can drop down here in this paragraph and I can edit this paragraph. It's got tools up here for massaging that text. You can even add a link and that blue box, it says add info. This may not, I may be doing something special. I may be doing a promotion with Easter seals. I may be doing a lot in the community that I want to talk about. So if I want to add that paragraph, I'll just click on add info here. And you can see that I can add another paragraph there. Below that, here's all the social media links. But I got to say again, keep in mind that if you don't have a Facebook link and leave that field blank, then a Facebook field won't be displayed in the presentation. So of course, once you've made all of these edits, we're going to click on save up in the top right-hand corner. You just have to do that once. You don't have to do this for every presentation. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get us back to build one. It's the most fun in the whole presentation. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to click on create new up in the top right-hand corner. Are we good in the text? Yeah, good. I'm going to click on create new in the top right-hand corner. And here's where the fun begins. It asks 3 questions. Select a type of template, pick a template, and let's talk about the settings. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with a seller presentation. So this comes out of the box with these presentations. Can you create more? Oh my gosh. You'll have this area here where I just have a couple of thumbnails. You're going to have this area full of all your presentations. And that's why you're going to appreciate the last one that you were working on is going to be up in the top left-hand corner. That doesn't show a lot right now, but when you got 20 presentations and you're looking for it on the fly, pretty neat. So anyway, I'm going to choose a template to use. And, Mr. McNally is a pretty good broker. And he said, Sweeney, if you list, you last. Get out there, take a listing. So that's the presentation I'm going to start with. It's just embedded, right? So let's get that seller presentation. Let's have a look at it. I'm going to click on continue to bottom right-hand corner. So let's see. I'm going to name it. I'm going to click on the default seller. I'm going to click on continue. Sorry. I did want to show you that once you start building these, you'll have your area here that says my template, broker's template. You might have templates set up for all kinds of things. Maybe your geographic target market, that kind of thing. But I don't want to start teaching. I want to get off the presentation and just click here. Those of you that know me. Okay, the presented for is presented to you. Yeah, heck yeah. And I'm going to put a big U in here. And I'm using, my default is the Bay Area MLS. I don't want to change that because I just don't want to mess anything up. But of course, in that, in your function, in your profile, you'll choose which MLS that you're associated with. Your broker and your admin will put your MLS data in here so that if you have multiple MLSs, you can click on this arrow and then according to your broker setup, you'll have which one you're to use. Is that English? Anyway, I'm going to click on create. What am I waiting for? That little button to spin. There it is. There it is. So now here's where it begins. Here's where it begins. And if you have an old MLS number, in other words, I'm going to a listing presentation, but maybe this has been listed before. Maybe it was just listed and withdrawn. So I can get a lot of information by just putting the MLS number in here. I always caution agents because the MLS information, if you just take it from a number, could be wrong. So, we're going to be that good agent. We're just going to drop down here to address. And let me put in I'm just this lazy. I'm going to put in the first one that I've been playing with. And Cedar Avenue is in San Francisco, California. I know I tried to pull up your MLS prior, but it wouldn't give me access. Must know me. Okay, now I put in the address and I'm going to put in some other things here, but let's put in a picture of the house. So over on the right-hand side, you see that black square with the photo icon in the middle. I'm going to click on Browse. And where's my house? There it is. If you've seen this house before, it's everywhere on the internet. Stock footage. I think this is the most popular picture of a house that there is, but I digress. So here's your house. I've got the address in here, and on the left, I'm just going to drop in some more stuff. Let's see. Let's go back into school. And I got a good school, elementary, better school for middle school, awesome high school. And let me continue on. I'm just playing. I'm going to put in 4 bedrooms. I'm going to choose a full bath and a 3/4 bath. Hey, you can see it drops the 1 in there or more. When I click on OK, I got square foot. And I'm sure you're thinking, I can do this. It's the simplicity is one of the really great features of this. And it's interactive with your MLS. So it's going to do all the heavy lifting here. So I put in, let's see, what else am I going to put in here? Some kind of, I don't know, kind of a blank here for some reason. HOA dues, other HOA dues. And anyway, when I'm done putting all this information in here, I'll scroll down to the bottom right-hand corner here. And again, if you have a prior listing and sale, you could drop that in here. So I'm clicking on continue. Now, look, please notice the breadcrumbs up at the top. We have subject property, search, listings, estimate, and pages. We were just at the subject property and filled in that information. So now we're on the search. And the search is where, you take these next steps to make sure that you have something that's, similar to the subject property. So I put in a lot of stuff here, and I did get a nice list, but I want to fine tune this a little bit. I want to fine tune this. The first thing I want to do is make sure that the property that I compare is near the subject property. Location, location, location. So on the right side, you see that map. Fisherman's Wharf. Wow, haven't been there in a minute. I'm going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do is just to the left of the map, you could see a little pop-up here that has a radius button. And I'm going to center that on the star of the subject property. I try to make it a mile. Let's see how good I did this morning. Oh, terrible. Let me zoom out a little bit, 1/4 of a mile. Good grief. 0.74, 0.93 will have to do. I just say that because I wanted to call your attention to the bar at the top of the circle. So it does have that radius that we're talking about, so you can tell your seller exactly where and how you chose the comps that you have. I'll click next to that on Run Search. One available listing. Good grief. So let me zoom out a little bit and let me make this a little bit bigger. So just so that I get some properties here. I got that subject property, and I'm going to, boy, let's take a big piece out of here. 2 3/4 miles. And Run Search. And this is better. Yeah, much better. Good grief. Looks like it has the measles. Again, the red ones are sold properties. The gold ones are pending properties. Here's a great one. And as I hover over them, you see that it shows the details information, shows the price information. On the left-hand side, then I'm going to tweak this. I'm going to tweak this because we have some filters. So what you might want to do, I'm sorry, before I get away from that radius button, there's a draw button right above it. And when I click on draw, that's where I can, I live in a subdivision in Las Vegas. So if I'm comparing subdivision, I want to compare apples to apples, I could draw those lines around those specific streets to get a border kind of thing and be super specific then about that information I give. But I'm just going to leave it at the radius button here because I've chosen these. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over here to the filters. So I have the subject property, 524 Cedar Avenue. To the right of that, I have price, and I might start to filter this by price. I might drop over to the right of that and start filter this by beds and bedrooms and bathrooms. I know we did that in the subject property, and we pulled up a general list of things that are very similar. But now we're just fine tuning this. Is a CMA designed to replace Toolkit CMA? I believe it is. Or can you use that same template from 21 Online? Yeah, you can import, you can bring things in and take things out. However, when you copy something and you bring that slide or that text information into this presentation, it's no longer responsive. So responsive, if you're not doing it in a build in the software, that it's not going to position itself on the displaying. In other words, if you display it on the laptop, it's not going to fill the screen. You might have to pinch it a little bit and reposition it because it uploads that as an image. So once it's responsive, it does open it up on your screen. It knows if it's a laptop, iPad, smartphone, that kind of thing. Good question, and thank you for that. If we use in the template, it'll draw. Yep. Yes, absolutely. No, you don't have to use another software. Isn't that cool? You're asking good questions. So I think that's really neat that instead of the old way of having to do that, now we do everything right here in this software. We don't have to go to Toolkit CMA. You don't have to go to other software to bring it into this one. Pretty cool. So anyway, so we have these properties, and now to choose those that I think might be the ones I want to include in my comp, I am going to be so super lazy this morning because these are all perfect. They're not, but I'm just going to choose some here just to show you the build. We have one more pending here. Now, as I scroll down, I'm trying not to do that too fast. We sure pulled up a lot of properties. Livia, go down fast. Because I want to show you this. When I click on continue and I'm at the bottom here, I can add more listings. Oh, shoot, no, come on back up here. I can add more listings. So if I have something coming on the market soon, this is where I'm going to add that. If I'm taking a listing and I know of a home that's sold recently, and that is the best comp that I could have, but maybe it's too old to show up on a 6-month search on the MLS. But for sake of my presentations, I want to say your neighbor's home sold for its identical home to yours, and I can make those comparisons by adding that listing in right here. So I wanted to point that out. Let me scroll up here a little bit because there's a lot of things we can talk about right here. Here's the subject property, has the star. So as we scroll down here, if your office is doing adjustments to listings, this is where you'll do that, right in the center of this page. So a lot of offices, a lot of agents will take that subject property and start to add or subtract amenities to get the other comparable properties on a level playing field, so to speak. If you were doing that, this is where you'll do it. I think that's pretty neat for software. Again, you have all the listing details here on the left-hand side. You can go into add your own remarks to these listings so that when you pull them up in your presentation, you have them, of course. Again, on the right-hand side of this little gray box with each listing, I can say the heck with it and just give this X a click. See you later. And to the right of that, here's a summary. So far, I mean, you have a lot of options available to you to answer questions on the fly here. So again, let me scroll down to the bottom. If you want to add more listings, here's where you'll do it, and then you'll click on continue. So this is the estimate tab. And this is, oh my gosh, we're talking about money. It's a big part of the presentation. So MOXIPRESENT is going to go in here and take all that information from the comps that we chose, and it's going to lay out that average lay out that average price. So comparable properties, we got a 2.9 average sales price in here. We're talking about properties 1,400 square foot and so on. Lots of great data here. A summary below that talks about listing summary and talks about for sale properties summary. But here's where it gets good. On the right-hand side, I can create that range, and this is how I do it. I click on create range here, and I might just drop in 5%. So let's talk about pricing it 5% lower, 5% higher. Let's cast a little wider net. It makes for a more interesting presentation. It's more interactive. We can get the seller involved and say, based on comps, based on the numbers, this is the range of value that buyers are willing to pay here. The lowest price that has been gotten, the highest price, that kind of conversation. You can create that here with this range of value. And I am going to apply that. And then I'm going to click up here, estimated pricing, right-hand corner at the top. Next to that, estimated net proceeds. And I'll just go through here and I'll enter all my information in here. Estimated sales price, what did we say? That was going to be, say, 3 million. I got enough zeros in there. Mortgage payoff, did I put too many? Is $500,000. You guys are getting 20% to list it, 20% to sell it. Wouldn't that be nice? Our escrow fees is $2,000. I'm just making stuff up. You'll get the right data here from your local sources and drop all this information in. The more, the better, because now we can give them a real accurate estimate of net proceeds. So other costs, you can fill it in here. You got custom costs. Let's see. Well, I'll put in here custom costs. I have a transaction fee in the office. So here's a transaction fee that I might call attention to. And at any rate, once I've pumped all these things in here, I'm going to drop down to the bottom right-hand corner and click on continue. And now here's where we get to the summary page. So we get to look at what we did. Now that it's complete, so to speak, we can see what we've done. We have the property summary, and here's all the, remember that first one I showed you in the demo didn't have much in it? But we put in single family residence, we put in Clark County, a good school, a better school. So I wanted you to see all the things that we added. And on with the picture, we added that picture and put in beds and bath. Here's a subject property. On my cover page, you just drop down here and look at all these pages. Remember, we added this picture. I made this presentation for you, so it's so stated. Listing location map, you can just go through all of these pages. What a great presentation. What a great presentation. Yeah, really good. Really good. So now if I wanted to add a page, I can add a page. I'm not going to in this presentation, but I want to build a buyer tour, and then I'll show you how to add a page. I'm going to add a photo. I'm going to add a video in here. It's going to be, it's just going to be great. So if you change the order here, what in the world is my agent profile doing down here? Oh, that's the first thing I want to do is beat on my chest here. Did I mention I'm the best agent? You know I'm teasing. But I'll put that up at the top. I'll talk about the cover page, and I'm going to get right into what makes me special. I'm Century 21. I got the best broker. I got the best training. I got the best stuff. I'll go right into that. And then I'll talk about, now, this is what you have. Here are your comps, and here's your homes, and so on. I'm going to duplicate this agent profile, and I'm going to put it at the end. And I'm going to print it. I mean, I want to make sure that they know how to get a hold of me. But at any rate, I digress here. So we've created this presentation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, let's see. Oh, I was looking for my home button. Sorry. So now you see that here's the presentation that we've been working on. Top left-hand corner, if there's 30 of them here, this one's going to show up here. And of course, the pencil to edit, the clock to hover, it says last updated a minute ago. I think that's kind of cool. And you see the description. This is the one that we just created. Okay. What I want to do next, with your permission, would You use a Zillow picture or a picture you take? That's a really good question. I'd be super, super cautious in using a picture from anything other than what I took, because my multiple listing service owns my photos. So even after I upload them, I cannot take from the MLS. I cannot take that photo from the MLS. It's watermarked. So this presentation, as I'll show you, every time you go in to add a photo to these presentations, it'll say, do you have permission? So that is really good question. And thank you for that question. So I'm going to click on create new, and we're going to do buyer tour. Oh, good. I'm going to click on the buyer tour. The buyer, remember, is like a listing presentation. I'm going to demonstrate to that buyer why I'm the best choice for them to make. Now, once they've decided on me, isn't that neat? That's the best part. I'm going to click on continue. Let's make a tour for them. And I'm going to use the default, let's see. Yeah, let me use the default buyer tour. Yeah, good. And so I have that radio button selected, and away we go on continue. I'm going to create this for you. And I'm going to go back to the, I'm sorry, I'd love to use your MLS, so you'd say, oh, we know those properties, but I'm just chicken. I don't want to mess it up. I'll click on create. I know I'm chicken. What are we going to do? We're going to wait, because it's going to spin for a minute. I say that because I always get impatient, and I'll start clicking. Don't do that. So the first thing that we open up here is a little bit different. It's a little bit different because it starts with this Inrex tool. This Inrex tool is really cool because what it does is it measures the distance. That's the first option here, is this Inrex tool, and it determines the distance from each of the homes that we're going to show to a particular location. So in other words, if you tell me you got to be 20 minutes from work, I got to be 10 minutes from my mom because I dropped the kids off there. I mean, you're talking to your buyers, and what they're talking about is, this buyer tour is really important to them. So now that we can create this and send it to them, and they can follow along live, really on their phone as we tour these properties, this is going to become increasingly more important to you. So let's add a photo. I'm going to drop over to the right to the black photo box. Click on browse, and now this opens up my my pictures on my computer. And let's see, this is a buyer tour, so I'm not going to put a picture of a house in here. I don't know which one they're going to buy yet, but I'm going to put a picture of Christmas tree in here. Our home office is in Madison, New Jersey. Love Madison. Love Madison. It's an awesome borough, right? And every year they have this Christmas tree lighting. So when I'm creating a buyer tour, I want to create more than just the dollars and cents, and I want to add some flavor to this. So I put in a picture, and I get into that same discussion with my buyer that I just had with you. Again, it's a little bit more about real estate. They got you. That makes it more about real estate. So what I did is I put in this picture, and hold on, excuse me. Yeah. Now let me click on continue, bottom right-hand corner. Does this look familiar? Should. Yeah, this is almost the same function as that listing presentation. But I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to, I'm just going to put in San Francisco, the entire city. Do you think we'll have any listings to look at there? The reason I did that is so I could show you that it automatically puts a border. So it automatically executes, and a border is drawn up on the map around that area, around San Francisco. The homes are color coded, but I got to get a lot closer to this one. Look at all those hundreds and hundreds of listings. Let me get zeroed in here, and to do that, I might hit that radius button again, because they told me that they want to live in this area. I'm so sorry. Look at that. I got 2 miles that time. 1.5 have to do. So looking up at the top, you see 1.54 mile radius because they've told me they want to live within a couple of miles of this given area. Okay, so that's a good place to start. And I'm going to click on run search, and let's find some listings available for them to see there. Oh, unfortunately, there aren't any. Good grief, a million? What does it say? 700? Yeah. Did we say we were going to make a radius, smaller radius? That's why I made a smaller radius. Let me run that search. Get a fewer of them to choose from. Good. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I'm just going to go over here to the left and just randomly again. Can you sort? You can sort. This is sorting by status. But again, if you drop up to the top here, I can go into price. I can really start to fine tune this, beds and baths. And the whole time that I'm doing this and giving this presentation, I'm explaining why I chose which listing based on all this information. If I want to click on the photos here, you can, and get a really good idea for what these comps are that you're going to be choosing. The details are over on the right-hand side of the gray box. So I can click there. And again, this is taking information directly as live as your MLS is. Mine probably takes a few minutes or so when I change information in there. Pictures can take a little bit longer, but you know the story to tell. Boy, that's a great picture, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to click on that X. $12 million should be a good picture. And you can see I already have some, 12 million, 8 million. These don't sound very similar at all. So instead of this one, I'm not going to choose this one. The heck with that. It's too expensive. Doesn't fall within the comps. Neither does the next one at 8 million. So I'm going to drop in here and I'm going to choose some 5.2. Yeah, I'll choose a 5.2, a 4.9. Of course, we all live in these houses. And let me choose, I'll choose this many. And then I could go over the details and make sure that I have the ones I want, but I'm for sake of speed and, oh my gosh, did I choose a lot of them? Let me drop down to the bottom because I want to show you by clicking on continue that it pulls those from the MLS and it makes a nice little pretzel tour on the right. Looks like a pretzel, figure 8. Well, there's where I get to explain to my buyer that it may look like a pretzel the order that we're doing these, but they're appointments that I made. So we may have to start with number 1 and come right back to near number 1 after we looked at number 4 because of appointments, or they could have just chose us in a weird order, and where I can go up to tour order. There's 7 to look at here. I'm going to just change that order. And let's see if I can get this a little bit better here. I got 1, 2. Ooh, I'm getting closer. No, now I'm getting farther. But you can play with this until you have a really nice smooth tour, or because of the appointments that you make. I think it's pretty cool that it gets to change all of those things. This sure is a lot easier than even my multiple listing service. So I love that. I'm going to click on save this order. There you go. Now, again, if you want to do a CMA, we're looking at properties. Well, how much will this cost? And what's the payment on this one? And they're going to ask a lot of questions. So we have this live. We have it pulled up. It's live with the MLS as long as you're on the internet. And how neat is that? So you can go in here again and make your adjustments. Well, this one had this, but this one had that. This is becoming increasingly more popular because people now are buying homes. They're settling. Did I say that right? There aren't very many homes to choose from. So now people are buying homes and looking at these amenities and what would they do? What would they do? If they can't find a home that's blue, painting it blue now is an option. So we're going to put in all these details and have that discussion. Don't not look at this house because of its color kind of thing. And we'll drop down to the bottom here. And this is where I could add more listings. I have a listing coming on the market. I've been talking to somebody in my database and they're like, yeah, come over and show the property. Maybe they're putting their toe in the water, test it out. You can add listings here, then click on continue. Look at this. Now we have that Christmas tree in the front. I've made this presentation for you. You see how easy it was to do. I got the listing location map. So it's showing all the properties. It has a lot of information in here, of course. I have a listing overview that talks about those active properties that we're going to see, and a side-by-side comparison. Doesn't this sound just like the seller? Because we've done a good job here, and we built this out so that they can see their options. We have a lot of data for them. Data. Boy, we got money here, and we've got the graphs talking about a price per square foot, talking about time on the market, price and size, agent profile. But yeah, I'm not done. I promised you I would add a page. And I don't want to add a page. I want to add a video. Because Madison's so cool. It's got that Christmas tree. It also has the Christmas tree lighting. Were you wondering where I was going with that? So I want to add that video. We got the Christmas tree lighting. Yeah, but wait, there's more. Call today. I'm going to click on add page. And I can add it from the library because you'll be creating pages. And you'll have your library, so many pages. You'll either create a folder for these pages or create pages for your folder. Good grief. I'm going to drop down here to create new, because let's just do that. And I'm going to choose on build page. You can, the question was asked, and this is where I can. I have a feeling you may be Santa. I am. I'm Santa. This you can build, or you can upload that. Your question was, can I just upload another slide that I'm using, a PDF? Absolutely. Does it stay resident on there? It is in the presentation, but again, you might have to pinch it and enlarge it because it's added as an image. So I'm going to build a page. Yeah, I'm going to build a page right here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll build a page. And I want to put in a short video about Madison also. I want to demonstrate this though. In the middle, here's that web view. But if I click down, I can print it. And so, yeah, I might want to print it and go over this presentation with them in the coffee store. I might want to take my laptop and open it up and do it that way. You might want to do both and print one and do it on the web view. Easy enough to do. And once you create that web view, I can click on the print view, and it's just, oh, sorry, I haven't created it yet. I know I get ahead of myself here. I'm going to add a page. I'm going to create a new one, and I want to build a page because it does. MOXIPRESENT sees what you've added here and opens it up appropriately to the device that's using it. I said that right. So here's a heading and 2 columns below it, but I'm going to put this video in here, so the heck with that. I'm going to go over here and just choose one page to host my video, and I'll create that. You have the icons here now that say text. I can add text. I can go in here and I can add videos. I can add image, and I'm going to click on video. But when you're putting a video in here, it has to be uploaded to the internet somewhere. So it doesn't, you have to use a URL. So I went to YouTube. I'm going to YouTube to show you where I'm getting a URL. Maybe you'll host yours on Vimeo or some other streaming service, but it has to be uploaded to the internet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here to my YouTube page. I hope you're seeing that. And you are. Awesome. And let me play this. Since I'm showing Madison, you know, this is pretty neat. Every year they have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and you know, everybody comes out, and it's just awesome. But last year, because of COVID, no parade. So what this borough did was they took the fire engines and the Santa Claus, and they took everything you see in the parade, and they marched it up and down every street in this area in town. Now I'm showing you this house to buy here. And isn't this a little bit better than just you want the blue one or the brown one, right? So we're showing them a little bit of flavor of the area that they're thinking of considering moving to. And if I time this right, have I done this before? But I love that. Now I'm going to borrow that URL. I'm going to click up in the top URL section, and I'm going to copy that. No, I don't want to copy that. No, I don't want that URL. Why don't I want that URL? I want to drop down below the video and I want to click on the share button. And if you notice in the URL, it has a youtube.com/watch and a bunch of stuff. That's an ad. I don't want an ad. I don't want to put an ad on my presentation. So I clicked on share under the video, and now I'll click on that copy. I don't have that ad attached. And it says link copied to clipboard, bottom left-hand corner. Yay that. Now we're doing good. Now that I have it copied, I'm going to jump back to my MOXIPRESENT. I'm going to click on video. And here's where I enter my URL. Now, as I was saying, look at the bottom right-hand corner. It has this add button, and that's going to add it. But it also says by adding this media content, I confirm, I certify that I have permission. I own it. Well, for whatever reason, I can put this video in here. I do have permission, so I can use this one. You got to be careful, because this is right. So now I can play it if I want to, but you saw that. Now at the top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on save. I like this. I added this page. Looks pretty good. What am I going to call this? Let's see. I think I might call this our Christmas in Madison. And the description is going to be the parade. And there you go. Now I can share it. I can enable sharing, those kinds of things. Let me click on save. It says it's been saved. And now I'm just going to click out, top left-hand corner. I'm going to click out Christmas in Madison. Oh, shoot. I could show you the save, but I have a URL in here. This URL from YouTube isn't going to print, of course. So before you save this, you might want to get rid of the video and just put put another image or something in there like that. Since it's printing, it won't be resident on the internet. So I'm going to click on X, Christmas in Madison. Look at that. Now I have our presentation. Presentation's the one I created for you. And you can see here's the cover page, and here's everything that we added here. You got a pencil right here if you want to edit it. Listing overview, side-by-side comparison, so on. Has all this information for our days on the market. And then at the bottom, Christmas in Madison. Pretty awesome. So with that, let's see, what else did I want to show you? I got the URL in here. I close the box, new page. Yeah, I think I've got pretty much have everything I wanted to talk about here. Oh, you're going to send this. Yeah. I mean, right now in Las Vegas, I can't put anybody in my car, show them a house. I get arrested, or I don't know what happens, but we're just still distancing in that way. So they're going to follow me in the car behind me. So I'll send them this presentation. And I don't have my iPhone hooked up to show you a live demo, but I'm going to go back to PowerPoint slides and finish this out by showing you those screenshots of what your customer would see. Come on now. And besides, I know that you're probably, you want more PowerPoint. I know you want more PowerPoint. And let's get to, well, I'll go to the end here, my closing slides, but let me back up because I really want to show you the screenshots. Yeah. Okay, so instead of you, this one we made for the Madigan family back in June, and you see a lot of the same pages that we created here. And so now we created this for you. You'll name it here with your customer. Now, when you send it, oh, I'm sorry, this is the button that I wanted to show you, is the send button. So when you click on those three buttons here, it's going to give you some options of send and duplicate, all those things, right? This is what we're going to do, is click on send. And when you do, this is what it'll look like. So it'll have a couple of buttons for your customer. Here's the directions they can click on to find the homes that you're going to view. It gave 3 options for URLs. Can you use others besides YouTube? Anything that you can get a URL for the video, you can put in here. Anything that directly links to the video. See, the only caution here is there's nowhere to store it inside the program. So like some PowerPoint presentations, yeah, I can do that, but I still have to be on the internet. It's kind of the same thing here. Yeah, so anywhere you can get a URL. Great question, and thank you. Let's see, what does it say? Can you save it as a template? Yep, yes. You could save it as a template since you have it named. You can have it named as a template. You can have it named as a private presentation. It's so powerful. Now, if you save it as a template, you can open up the template and change it. Now I got a new template because something's happened in my market. Interest rates have gone down. Now all my CMA pages are different and all. Don't you get me started? So you change this thing? Oh yeah. So when you send it to them, they'll see the directions here, and then they'll have the button for the presentation. It's just like in our example, when you click on it, oh, you're welcome. Heck yeah. It's just going to scroll and eventually open. Here's the presentation. Here's the map. That's going to show them what's next. Inrex Tool, show them how long it's going to take, that kind of thing. And then finally, they'll get to this page. You'll have to give them a little bit of advice on how to use this. They're driving behind me now because I can't have them in my car. So I'll have them click here to add a review, information about that house. So you give me a star rating. Boy, do I love a star rating. If you give it 1 star, I'm not considering this listing as a potential purchase. If you give it 2 or 3 or 4, man, I'm starting to see that you're more and more interested. So at any rate, I'll send this to them at their email address, but they must re-enter that same email address that I sent it to. Is that English? And the reason for that is we want to make sure that now we can track this customer. So they'll put in their email address. Now they've opened up this specific buyer tour. We'll know who they are, their email address, and the tour we took them on. And now they can add those stars and they can add their comments. Oh my gosh, look at this. It's exactly what we're looking for. Thank you for showing this to us. I can't wait to start here on Saturday. So they're giving you all this feedback. They haven't even been on the tour yet, or they're following behind me and I'm seeing in real time. Of course, I'm not reading this while I'm driving, but when I get to the next house, I can look at my phone, see what they have to say about the last house. And now that we're entering this next house, there's that conversation. I saw what you added on there, and you can now, keep up with them with the tour. So again, they can click on the reviews, the stars. They can put all this information in here. Then they click on save, and there you go. This is your agent view, of course. I showed you this live. So the last thing I want to do here is talk about next steps. You're going to have a getting started guide. You already do have a getting started guide, and there will be more and more self-paced learning popping up here. And that'll be, of course, in your Century 21 University or on your Moxie tab on 21online.com. That might be the better place to start. We'll put more self-paced learning and things on the university as we go along. Last thing I'm going to talk about is the help section, because this is not a help list section. Getting started, and while you're putting all this stuff together, it's a really good help desk because it's interactive. And by that I mean, will this work? Will this work? The auto email as on MLS. Will this work? Will this work? The auto email as on MLS? I don't think so. I don't know the answer to that question. But I don't think so. I don't think it's going to send any auto emails. It's going to be something that you generate and you send. However, once you send this presentation, since every time it's open, it goes to the MLS and updates. So we might be talking about the same thing here. It may not be an auto email. It may not call their attention to it. But now I'm on the phone. I say, open up your presentation. Look what's happened. The blue house sold. And it sold for $1 bazillion, so we can raise the price. I know, I just get goofy. So yeah, It's not a search just a buyer tour. That's true, but we did create the listing tour also. I mean, the listing presentation also. So either of these things, either of these things, when you open them up, will access that same information and make those updates. Will it add things? No. Okay. So this help desk button, you'll click on help and feedback, and look at this. You can add feedback. Why doesn't this have this? Why doesn't this have this function to do an auto? You can ask the Moxie, and this is awesome because this is, of course, how you build the next iterations. We take all the comments of things that you need, and those are uploaded to Moxie, and then they'll make those corrections or not, but they'll know what they are. Again, this bottom right-hand corner help button's on every page, red button. When you click on it, you can ask questions, but it is a bot. Go ahead and groan, everybody together. I know I don't like bots either. But this one's pretty cool because it has a get in touch button. So in other words, I can ask a question. It's going to search for the frequently responded answers to the frequently asked questions. And but that may not be what I want. I don't want a pat answer. I have something unique here. I'm going to click on get in touch so that I can, in real time, I can text somebody with Moxie and they can they can help me with that issue. So your questions. This is very, 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 very important. Yep, heck yeah. So a Q&A, questions. I have one last slide to show you here, and that's my link. Yeah, I get judged just like you guys get a quality service survey. They see, how's this guy doing? If I did a good job, if you'll click on this, my name's Paul Sweeney. I'm over on the right. If I did a bad job, just choose any of those other names. Is this available now? It should be, I'll say this week, because what happens is we give the training and then right after the training, it goes live. So I'm going to give us a day or so. Of course, we know that you're doing this training today. It could already be live. But generally speaking, we wait. You were able to log into it? Yeah. Oh, good. It's live. Love it. Love it. Love it. Any other thoughts, comments, questions before we go? Oh, you're welcome. Adding Zillow reviews, the way you do that is, I don't know of a way of merging it, but you would cut and paste, create a page, something like that. Let's see, delivery options for these CMAs and tours, email only. Yeah, you can text it. You can text a link. Yeah, you can text a link, sure. You're welcome. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Heck yeah. It's so good seeing you guys. I hope to see you on the internet soon. And thank you for letting me be part of your meeting today. See you later.